You're living in a lie. Right now, wherever you are, you're not actually here. You're in 2015 or 2010 or back when things felt good. And every single day you're getting worse because you're not building anything in the present. But you think you're just being nostalgic. You're not. You're sabotaging yourself. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in your brain and how to actually escape it. Let's start with the basics. What is nostalgia actually? Most people think nostalgia is just missing the past, but psychologically, it's way more complex than that. Nostalgia is a sentimental longing for the past, but here's the critical part. It's not an accurate memory of the past. It's a romanticized, edited, filtered version of it. Your brain takes real memories and rewrites them. It removes the bad parts, the pain, the struggle, the reasons why things ended, and it amplifies the good parts, the excitement, the connection, the ease. Think about it. When you reminisce about high school, you probably remember the fun moments with friends, the freedom, the parties. But do you remember the anxiety, the social rejection, the pressure, the uncertainty about the future? Your brain does selective editing, and it's actually evolutionarily designed to do this. Here's why this matters. Psychologist Konstantin Siddiqides found that nostalgia serves several actual functions in our brains. It makes us feel socially connected. It boosts mood temporarily. It creates a sense of meaning and continuity in our lives. So nostalgia isn't bad. It's actually a normal, healthy psychological tool. The problem happens when it becomes a pattern, when it becomes a shield. Here's where it gets real. Nostalgia becomes a shield when you start using it to escape present pain, when the past feels safer than the future, when yesterday feels more real than today. Let me give you 3 scenarios. Scenario A, the breakup trap. Marcus was in a 4-year relationship that ended badly. Not because they were toxic, but because they grew apart. Now, 2 years later, he's constantly thinking about the good moments. He re-watches old photos. He runs into mutual friends and asks about her. He's convinced that what they had was perfect. But here's the reality. He's not actually missing her. He's using the nostalgia of that relationship as a shield against the pain of being alone, against the uncertainty of the future, against the risk of being hurt again. The nostalgia feels like love, but it's actually fear wearing a disguise. Scenario B, the glory days. Jessica was a college athlete. She was fit, popular, had an identity. Then life happened. Career stress, responsibilities, health issues. She's no longer that person, and she can't accept it. So she lives in it. She constantly talks about her athletic days. She follows fitness influencers obsessively. She romanticizes the ease of college life. She's convinced those were her best years. And in doing this, she's telling her present self, "You're not good enough anymore. Your best days are behind you." Nostalgia, in this case, is a shield against grief, against accepting change, against building a new identity. Scenario C, the childhood wound. David had a chaotic, painful childhood, but he also has some genuinely good memories. Summers at his grandpa's house, certain holidays, specific moments of connection with his mom. Now, whenever adult life gets hard, he romanticizes those childhood memories. He wishes he could go back to simpler times. He's convinced that if he could somehow return to that state, everything would be okay. But what he's actually doing is using nostalgia as a shield against the reality that he has to build his own safety now. He has to be the adult, and that's terrifying. So he escapes to a time when someone else was responsible, when the world felt smaller and more manageable. In all three cases, nostalgia isn't the problem. The problem is what the nostalgia is shielding them from. It's a symptom, not the disease. Let's get into the actual psychology of why this happens. There are three main mechanisms at play. Mechanism number 1, the negativity bias reversal. Normally, your brain has a negativity bias. Bad events stick with you more than good ones. It's an evolutionary thing. Remembering dangers kept our ancestors alive. But nostalgia flips this. When you're reminiscing, your brain suppresses the negative details and amplifies the positive ones. It's like selective memory on steroids. Psychologist Tim Wildschut's research showed that when people engage in nostalgia, their brains activate the same reward centers that activate with food, drugs, or money. It literally feels good, chemically good. So you're getting a dopamine hit from nostalgia. Your brain is addicted to it. And like any addiction, you need more of it to feel the same effect. Mechanism number 2, the identity crisis. Here's something deeper. Your identity is largely built on your past. You know who you are because of what you've experienced. But when your present is painful or disappointing, your past identity, especially an idealized version of it, can feel more real than your current identity. If you were the popular kid in high school, but you're lonely now, who are you? If you were the successful one in your family, but you failed professionally, who are you? Nostalgia answers this question. It says, you're still that person from back then. That version was better. Go back to that. It's a solution to an identity crisis, but it's a false solution because you can't actually go back. Mechanism number 3, the avoidance loop. This is the most dangerous one. When you spend time in nostalgia, you're literally not dealing with your present. You're not addressing the pain. You're not building new relationships. You're not pursuing new goals. You're not growing. But your brain interprets this as problem solved because the nostalgic feeling temporarily reduces your anxiety. You feel better. So your brain learns, when life is hard, think about the past. That makes it better. Now you're in a loop. Present feels painful. Nostalgia feels good. You retreat further into the past. Present gets worse because you're not engaging with it. You need more nostalgia to cope. And the longer you're in this loop, the more your present actually does decline because you're not taking action. You're not building. You're not creating new positive experiences. So nostalgia, which started as a shield, becomes a prison. Now let's talk about what this actually does to your life, because it's not just psychological, it has real consequences. Consequence number 1, depression and anhedonia. When you're constantly comparing your present to an idealized past, the present will always lose, and that gap between what was and what is creates depression. Research shows that people who spend excessive time in nostalgia have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and what's called anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure in current experiences. Because you're training your brain to find the past more rewarding than the present, so when something genuinely good happens now, your brain doesn't register it as good. It compares it to the idealized past and finds it lacking. Consequence number 2, relationship sabotage. This one's subtle but devastating. When you're living in the past, you can't fully show up for people in the present. Your new partner will always be compared to your ex. Your new friends will never be as easy as your old friend group. Your new job will never match the excitement of that old role. So new relationships either die because they sense they're competing with a ghost, or they survive, but they're always slightly less than in your mind. And here's the worst part. You might actually be sabotaging good relationships because they don't match the fantasy of the past. Consequence number 3, stagnation and lost potential. This is the big one. While you're living in the past, your future isn't being built. You're not developing new skills. You're not having new experiences. You're not growing. So 5 years from now, you'll be reminiscing about today, but not in a good way. You'll be thinking, I wish I had actually lived through that time instead of just remembering the past. You're not actually building a better future. You're just guaranteeing that your future will also be something you regret. But here's the thing that most people miss. You can't just stop being nostalgic. Your brain won't let you. Nostalgia serves a purpose. It's not the enemy. The enemy is using it as a primary coping mechanism, as a shield against growth. Before I give you solutions, I want to validate something. The nostalgia you're feeling, it's not weakness. It's not stupidity. It's a genuine response to real pain. If you're nostalgic about a relationship, it's because that relationship was real and it ended. That's worth grieving. If you're nostalgic about your youth, it's because you've experienced loss of time, identity, or capability. That's real. If you're nostalgic about childhood, it might be because you didn't have safety or stability then, and now you're looking for it in memory. Your brain is trying to protect you. It's trying to make the pain smaller. The shield makes sense. The problem isn't the nostalgia. The problem is that the shield is blocking your view of what's actually possible right now. And you can't move past something you don't understand. So that's what we're doing here. We're understanding it so you can actually address it. Okay, so here's what actually works. And these aren't theory. These are evidence-based strategies that psychologists actually use. Step 1. Acknowledge what you're avoiding. This is the hardest step because it requires honesty. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of right now? What pain am I escaping by going to the past? Is it fear of being alone? Fear that your best days are behind you? Fear that you can't build something new? Grief over a loss? Shame about where you are now? Uncertainty about the future? Write it down. Get specific, because you can't solve a problem you won't name. Step 2. Grieve the actual loss. Nostalgia often contains real grief that you haven't processed. If a relationship ended, grieve it. If you've aged and lost physical capability, grieve it. If your childhood was painful, grieve the childhood you deserved but didn't get. Grief and nostalgia are different. Grief is, I had something real and it's gone. That sucks. Nostalgia is, that was perfect and I want to go back. One moves you forward, the other keeps you stuck. Step 3. Build something in the present that's worth being present for. This is critical. You can't just stop living in the past. You have to replace it with something compelling in the present. And I don't mean be grateful or think positive. I mean actually build something. Start a project, begin a relationship, learn a skill, create art, help someone, travel somewhere new. Have a conversation that matters. Do something that makes you think, this is happening right now. I need to be here for this. Because nostalgia loses its power when the present becomes genuinely interesting. Step 4. Reframe your identity. You're not the person you were, and that's okay. High school you was great, but high school you couldn't have done what you're capable of now. That version of you had different problems, different limitations, different potential. You don't have to go backward to be happy. You have to go forward as a new version of yourself. And the thing is, future you might look back on right now and think, those were good days too. I just couldn't see it. Step 5. Limit nostalgia triggers. This is practical. If certain social media accounts, photos, people, or places trigger excessive nostalgia, reduce exposure. I'm not saying never look at old photos. I'm saying don't scroll through old Instagram for 2 hours while feeling miserable. Delete the group chat that keeps rehashing old drama. Unfollow the ex-partner's account. Skip the high school reunion event if you know it'll send you spiraling. You can appreciate the past without living in it. Step 6. Build new positive memories. The reason the past feels so good is because you've accumulated positive memories there, years of them. But you can build that in the present too, not by chasing the old experience because you can't recreate it, but by creating new positive experiences that are unique to who you are now. Start small. One new thing each week, one new experience, one new connection. A year from now, you'll have a year's worth of new positive memories, and they'll be real, not romanticized, and they'll be yours. Here's the thing about time and nostalgia. You can't actually hold on to the past, even when you're remembering it. You're creating a new memory right now. You're not actually revisiting that moment. You're creating a new experience of remembering it. So every time you romanticize the past, you're not preserving it, you're changing it. You're building a mythology around it. And in doing that, you're missing the only thing that's actually real, right now. The past is over. It served its purpose. It made you who you are. But it can't be your home. Your home has to be the present. Because that's the only place where you actually have power. That's the only place where you can actually choose what happens next. Nostalgia isn't the enemy, but using it to avoid building your life, that's the trap. And the way out isn't to hate the past, it's to stop treating it like it's more real than your future. If you're stuck living in the past right now, I want you to know, you can get out. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. Start with step 1. Just acknowledge what you're avoiding. That's the beginning. And if this resonated, drop a comment. Let me know if you're stuck in nostalgia or if you've managed to move past it. These conversations matter. Like this, if it hit different, subscribe for more psychology content, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.